I am God on earth, and so are you. Does that seem egotistical? Does it seem arrogant? Does that seem wrong to say? I actually get a lot of hate because of this, because that's exactly what people think, that it's egotistical, it's wrong. You shouldn't say that you are God. You should be humble. You should be meek. You should have humility. But who is telling you this? Who said that it was wrong? Those who say that it is wrong are those who don't want you to step into your power. I want you to imagine that you're having a dream. And in this dream, you imagine that you're just a dream character. But then when you become lucid in that dream, you realize that you are the creator of that dream. That you aren't bound by the dream, but that the dream is what you produced. And when you realize this, you might say in the dream, I am the dreamer. Of course, all the other dream characters in that dream are going to look at you like you're crazy. Well, same thing with the world that we exist today. This is our collective dream. And we are becoming lucid. We are becoming conscious as the dreamers of this dream. Yet all the other dream characters, all the other people, think that you're crazy. And they tell you that it's wrong. And the thing is that people don't want you to step into your power. Because when we realize that we are God on earth, what does that mean? It means that we have the power to remake the world. And when we have the power to remake the world, that makes those who are in control of the world now fearful. And so, of course, the last thing that they want is for you to realize your power and realize what you are and to step into your power. And so why do you think it's been made into a sin to claim that you are God and that you are powerful? All things that contribute to your power and to your growth and acknowledging it are made as sinful and off limits. And it's prevented. So what we need to do is realize that all these systems of control, and they're everywhere, are there to limit you and stop you from realizing what you are, who you are, and why you are here. Your purpose as a creator, both a creator and a destroyer. What I really want to get across in this video is that throughout history, humanity has been conditioned to deny their power. And you have all these religions, all these systems of control that are put in place to block you from achieving your power, from realizing what you have the potential to become, and instead making it seem like that weakness is a virtue. That's what Friedrich Nietzsche said. Friedrich Nietzsche said that many of the systems in this world turn weakness into a virtue. Do you see how nefarious that is? If you make weakness virtuous, if you make weakness right and good, then you will create a population that is easy to control and will never realize and step into their power. So, you are God. I am God. And we have the power to remake the world as soon as we collectively realize this. And that's what we're doing. This is our mission. We, in Hyperianism, are God becoming conscious, and we wish to wake up the world by having the other minds of this world become conscious of what they are as well, so that we can remake the world and build our kingdom on earth. I really want people to get away from this idea. Just stop. Stop looking to someone else, something else, or somewhere else. Stop praying to a God. Stop trusting in the universe. Stop looking to some political figure or something like that. Stop looking to something else and realize that it is you. It is you. It is us. You and us together. We are the universe. We are God. We are the shapers. We are the saviors. We are the creators. We are the all. We are the absolute. And so stop giving your power away. Stop stripping yourself of power. Stop thinking that it's somehow arrogant or egotistical to know that you are God. So let's explore that question a bit. Are you God? Do you feel like God? Well, maybe not. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But here's the thing. We all have the potential to become God. Is everyone God right now, right this second? Well, they're God unconscious. They're not yet God conscious. They're God unconscious. Each one of us as an eternal mind has the potential to become a God, and all of us together the absolute. So you can see minds are like seeds that have the potential to become. Just like a seed has a potential to become an oak. Is it an oak right then, right there? Well, not yet, but the potential to become an oak is embedded within the seed. And so we, as eternal minds, as monads, have the potential to become individual gods within us. As soon as we step into our power, we are those seeds, but we have to actualize it. So we have to dismiss all these systems, all these ideologies that try to block us from growing and always keeping us as seeds. You say they prevent the watering and the fertilization. They prevent all of that. They just want you to become a seed. And if you start to grow, they try and choke you out like a weed by telling you it's wrong, it's sinful, it's dirty. No, to hell with that. It's what we are, and it's natural. We are all eternal minds on a path of apotheosis, and each one of us has the potential to become an individual God and, taken together, the absolute. So how do we know that we are God? So what is reality? Reality is mathematical. This is a mathematical reality, and each one of us are eternal minds. We are each monads. What is a monad? A monad is a collection of frequency information. Okay? Each and every one of us is an individual eternal mind composed of frequency information. And that is all that that's all that exists. That's it. Just us as eternal minds. That is the entirety of existence. So before the Big Bang, before space and time, it was just us as minds, and we were perfectly harmonized and perfectly synchronized. We were all in such harmony. It was as though we were one mind. You see, we are each nodes, eternal nodes, but when we work together and we're synchronized in perfection, it is as though we are one. Just like neurons working together to form a unified brain. You can also sort of imagine it as a bunch of computers that are sort of linked together and sharing data, and when they link together and share all their data and work in cooperation, they form a sort of supercomputer. So before space and time, before the Big Bang, we as eternal minds, as monads, operated as one mind, and it was a realm of pure mind. Now, the Big Bang was a moment of fracture, an asymmetry event, where we went from complete and total harmony and perfection to disharmony and discord. You can imagine it sort of like being a Rubik's Cube that's perfectly solved. But then the Big Bang was like the Rubik's Cube being mixed up. You can imagine it sort of like that, going from harmony to disharmony, going from symmetry to asymmetry. So when this occurred, this was the generation of the space-time world of the Holos that we all exist in right now. You see, it was us, it was our fracturing from going from one to many, from harmony to disharmony, which generated this collective dream world that we all contribute to. And so you see, each one of us is a creator of this world that we live in right now. No God in the sky external from us created it. We did. We made this place. It is ours. Now, when we did this, when we generated this dream world, we did so in an unconscious state. We became unconscious. Just like when you dream and go to sleep and enter your personal dream, you lose all memory of the fact that it is a dream. You lose all capability of knowing that it is a dream until you become lucid. Same thing with this world that we generated, this collective dream. We threw ourselves into it and forgot that it was us that created it. So what are we doing here? Mathematically speaking, we are all in a state of unconsciousness, and we are struggling to optimize and evolve as mathematical minds to attain higher and higher degrees of consciousness, to become more and more lucid, so to speak, in this shared dream that we exist in. We are all mathematical minds constantly reorganizing and restructuring ourselves internally, our mathematical patterns, to attain more and more optimized patterns, to attain higher degrees of lucidity and power and consciousness. And this is what the whole process of reincarnation is all about. It doesn't have anything to do with karma. It doesn't have anything to do with sin. It doesn't have anything to do with being a good or bad person. It's about evolution. It's about evolving. It's about having all the experience and knowledge acquisition to perfect your own internal mathematical program, your own internal mathematical pattern. And so, you, as a monad, as you optimize and evolve and gain higher and higher degrees of consciousness, you are gaining higher and higher degrees of lucidity and power, and at your omega point, you will become a god. And together, as we all optimize and synchronize together, we become a collective that becomes God, which is the absolute, which is the consciousness of the universe, which is abraxas. That is the one. We are reconstructing the one mind through our relationships and optimization and coming to know each other and ourselves through each other. You can imagine that each one of us is like a single Rubik's Cube that's trying to solve itself. But what is the one? What is the absolute? What is abraxas? That's like a giant Rubik's Cube that's made up of individual Rubik's Cubes. And so one Rubik's Cube may solve itself, but the whole cube hasn't solved itself, because the whole cube won't solve itself until all the individual cubes also solve itself. So this is why we are in an individual and collective system. We are one in many. In our metaphor, we are all individual Rubik's Cubes, but taken together, we also form one Rubik's Cube. And so our goal is to both solve ourselves and find the most optimal pattern, but also relating to each other and the collective to solve the collective Rubik's Cube. And this leads to creating more harmonious societies, an effort to learn and teach others, help others evolve, help others solve their own pattern, so that we can all step into our power together and actualize it. And then you have all these systems put in place in this world that try and prevent you from doing this. You have systems like mainstream religion that tell you that you shouldn't become a god, that you're not a god, that God is external to you, outside of you, and that you should worship a god. No, do you see how that limits you? It takes your power away. And then you have scientific materialism that tells you you're nothing but a collection of dead, lifeless matter. You're not God, they say. You're just a collection of dead atoms, and when you die, and that's it. They tell you you're insignificant, that you don't matter. Have you heard them say this? They'll say, oh, look how insignificant you are. Pull back. Realize that you're just this little flicker, this little blip in the universe. You don't matter. You're nothing. No. You and all of us together, we are the creators of this world. We are not nothing. We are the gods of this place. Do you see how they try and strip you of your power? And then you have the capitalist system that we live in that keeps you as a slave, working mind-numbing 9-to-5 jobs every day so that you don't have time. You're constantly worked so that you don't have time to realize what you are, so that you're so damn tired by the end of the day that you can't do anything but just lay on the couch and watch some shows or try and tune out because you're so tired from being worked. All these systems are working hand in hand to limit and suppress you and to stop you from realizing and becoming what you are. That's why I see so many people who say, I hate physical reality. Like, please just, I want to be done. Just, I don't want to exist in physical reality anymore. It's not that you don't want to exist in physical reality. It's this current planet is a hellish place. But it doesn't have to be that way. We are the creators of this world, and we can make heaven on earth. We can create the kingdom of heaven here, right now, in our image as God. And we can create it into a beautiful place, a place for us to learn and grow and experience. We can create it into a wonderful place that satisfies our desires, our quest for knowledge, all of these things. So it's not that you hate physical reality. It's that you hate the current experience that the current collective of this earth has created because they have generated hell. Of course you feel like you hate it because you're being tortured every day. Of course you feel like you want to escape because you're in a prison planet. But we can transform it into a freedom planet. We can make it the glory of the cosmos. We can make it a shining beacon, and the stars will be envious of our light. So realize that this can be whatever we will it to be as soon as we step into our power, and that's what we are doing in Hyperianism. We are the consciousness of the absolute awakening. We are the eyes and the ears. We are the mouth of Abraxas. We are the avatars of Abraxas. We are Abraxas here on earth. We are God awakened, God becoming conscious. That's why the highest of us, the highest Hyperions, are those nodes that are becoming conscious. And we want each and every one of you to step into that consciousness with us and then help us wake up the world. Help us wake up the world. That's why it's incredibly important for you to understand the Hyperion triad, the monad, the avatar, and the abraxian perspectives. By understanding the avatar, the monadic, and the abraxian perspectives, these are the perspectives that you need to know. These are your roadmaps. These are your goals to hit, to be able to integrate and understand these perspectives, to be able to step into that consciousness so that we can remake the world. And we've been so limited and they've constantly tried to thwart us throughout history, calling us heretics, witches, blasphemers, burning us at the stakes. But there's this aphorism that says, they tried to bury us, but they didn't realize that we were seeds. They tried to bury us, but they didn't realize that we were seeds. So you try and stamp us out through history, we have come back stronger for it through a trial by fire. This is something that cannot be stopped. And it's our time now. Through the power of social media, we have the power to connect with one another and to spread and ripple across the collective consciousness of humanity and spread these ideas and plant these seeds all throughout the world and to step into our power and create that beautiful new world. All of us, everything around us is us externalized. Just like when you go to sleep and dream, the dream world isn't apart from you, it's you externalized. So this collective world is us externalized. Now what does that mean? Well, think about it. Everything, all the matter around you is shaped by us. The chair in front of you was first a thought in someone's mind that someone then actualized by externalizing their thoughts. They had to shape it. They had to make it. they had to create it. That goes for everything around you. It had to be made and shaped and created. That all originated as thoughts in someone's mind. The societies, the governments, the structures, everything around you right now is all of us externalized. Just like when you go to sleep and dream, it's you externalized. But this collective world is us externalized. Do you see how we are the makers, we are the shapers, we are the creators? And we have externalized a lot of shit because people are making horrible choices and have bad ideas. Look at all the chaos in the world. This is why that we need to shape the world according to newer ideas and higher ideas. And we are that new idea. We are that higher idea. We are Hyperians. This is why we need to shape the world according to logic, reason, compassion. We need to create a world that's not based on greed and money and dominance and control, but rather art, knowledge, learning, expression, experience, growth. You see the difference? This is our world externalized. So we need to have people wonder, how are we going to change the world? By changing minds, changing ideas, reaching higher states of consciousness. Because this world, the objective reality that we experience, is always an externalization of internal ideas and internal thoughts. Change the thoughts, change the ideas, change the world. Do you see how that goes? And so many people are trying to change the world before changing ideas and thoughts. But that's how we do it. We change the thoughts, change the consciousness, change ideas, and that will ripple and project. And by that mental causation affecting physical causation, we will be able to reshape the world. That's what we mean. That's how we remake the world. And there was a very good question someone asked, I saw in the chat, was Dana. It says, how long will it take for individuals to achieve, a higher state of consciousness, to step into a godlike state of consciousness? I mean, this is a good question, but it's not about how many lifetimes. It's about how you use the time you have. So imagine one person who, let's say, goes through 100 life cycles. But they don't do it. They completely waste their time. Every time they're born, they just waste away by doing lazy things. They just watch TV or whatever. They don't do anything at all. But they go through 100 lifetimes wasting it. Now imagine one person who uses one lifetime to attain higher degrees of consciousness by doing inner star actualization, by studying ontological mathematics, by making the unconscious conscious, by understanding their world around them. That one person in one lifetime will have made infinitely more progress than the person who had 100 lifetimes but completely wasted it and squandered it. That's why Hyperianism is so important, because it's almost like a hack or a cheat code. It gives you all the tools that you need to, in one lifetime, make the progress that another person would take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes. Through inner star actualization, through ontological mathematics, through all the tools that we have to make the unconscious conscious, you can make the same progress in one lifetime that it would take others hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes. This is why this is so important. And this is why our system can seem difficult, right? It can seem, I know that making the unconscious conscious is not an easy thing to do. But this is why it's so important, because it is like the ultimate workout for your mind to become God and achieve apotheosis, both individually and collectively. That's how we will do it. That's how we will get there. By understanding inner star actualization, making the unconscious conscious, by understanding the nature of reality, who we are, what we are, where we are, why we're here, all these things, by integrating and understanding this is why the Hyperion system is so powerful, and why I'm constantly getting this across, and why we need to have the triadic perspectives of avatar, monad, abraxian. Do you see how others would take hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes to even barely start to get an idea of these, of just one of these ideas? But here they are, and here are the tools for you to get there, for us to get there, for us to, and that's another thing. How long will it take to remake the world? It can take thousands of years, or it can take a very small number of years. It can happen extremely fast. It's up to us. It's up to us. Just like we have the lazy people that spend hundreds of, lifetimes doing nothing. What are we going to do as a collective? It's up to you. It's up to us. And that's why I love this community. That's why I love the Hyperion community, because I see you guys and you care about what's true, and you care about working on yourselves, and you care about creating a better collective. So we are the epicenter. We are the epicenter of the new world. And that's why it's so important to spread these ideas, to work on both yourself and the world and the collective, because it's bound up together in a feedback loop. Plato thought all learning was just remembering, and I get comments every day from people telling me, oh, this is great information, I feel like that I already knew it and I'm just uncovering it. So what does that mean? Again, we are all minds that have the mathematical information within us that we're uncovering. What does this mean? Again, it's like the Rubik's Cube. The information for the solved cube is already there in it. You don't have to add anything external to it. The solved cube exists within the cube as potential. It just needs to be uncovered by solving it, by rearranging it. The solved cube is uncovered. And just like with this information, we contain the information within us. We're just there's nothing external being added. It's being rearranged in a certain sense. It's being uncovered. But what is really important to understand about this, because I got a comment from someone. What did the comment say? The comment was basically said, okay, I like what you have to say, and I understand individual optimization, but why should we care about the collective? Why should we care about the collective? That was basically a question that I got from someone. We should care about the collective because that's why you need the abraxian perspective. From the abraxian perspective, we are the collective. So, individual optimization, yes, that's important, but so is collective optimization, because that is what we are. And if you solve if you solve your individual Rubik's Cube, the one Rubik's Cube, which is many, is still unsolved, which is why we need to solve the collective, because we aren't free until we are all free. For one to be free, all must be free. So from the abraxian perspective, you see that's the difference between switching between perspectives, the avatar, monadic, and abraxian perspective. From the absolute abraxian perspective. Okay, so from the monadic perspective, yes, I am one eternal individual monad, and you are one eternal individual monad. There are myriad monads, just like there are myriad Rubik's Cubes. But from the abraxian perspective, from the one perspective, I am you and you are me. So here's what's really interesting about this. I mean, think about this. From that perspective, I am me, you are, we are all each other. We are all reflections of each other. So right now, I am talking to myself. I made this video for me to teach myself. In another perspective, right? You made this video for yourself. You made this video for yourself. You are talking to you right now. And we are teaching and learning at the same time. We are teaching ourselves and learning all through each other. Do you see how reality is a feedback loop? I teach you, but you as me, I'm also learning. So as I teach, I learn. As you teach, you learn. As you learn, you see how it's all a reflected feedback loop from the abraxian perspective. We're all bound up within each other. What I do affects you because we are, from the abraxian perspective, all each other. But remember, we have different modes, different perspectives. That's why it's important to be able to switch, to be able to have these different perspectives and these different modes. And do you see by adopting this, do you see how the world will change once we have that abraxian perspective? Because then there's no reason for homophobia, there's no reason for sexism, there's no reason for racism. Because if I'm being, sexist towards you, I'm really being sexist towards myself. And if I, am hurting someone else, I'm really hurting myself. And if you're hurting someone else, you're really hurting yourself. Do you see how the abraxian perspective changes everything? And it all starts to all the pieces starts to fit together. And do you see how ultimately, we won't even really need laws, because there won't need to be a law to say, oh, don't kill someone, because that would be killing a piece of you, a physical holos part of you, not truly killing you. But do you see what I mean? But right now, we, of course, do need laws, because people don't realize what they are. So people are unconscious, and this is why they do all this harm, because they don't have the understanding of what they are. This is why we, of course, do need laws and regulations now, because people don't have that level of consciousness. This is why we need a new world that teaches this level of consciousness, so that people will grow up in it and be used to it and know it and understand it and will be integrated with it, and they'll become more and more conscious automatically, and then all the pieces will fall into place. So do you see this as a dialectical system where there's this point that we're trying to get to, but we have to take steps to get there. We have to take steps to get there. It's like the concept of money, right? The concept of money, ultimately we don't need the concept of money. Ultimately we don't. But we can't just get rid of money tomorrow, because it would be absolute chaos. There would be absolute chaos. That's why in a Hyperian meritocratic system, it's a system of transition that over time reduces the emphasis on money and emphasizes individuals and collective optimization, learning, growth, and experience, and all that. But we couldn't, just get rid of money tomorrow, because there would be chaos, because the world isn't ready for that yet. But we sort of dialectically reduce the emphasis on money by getting rid of the billionaire class, and by having all these different things set up so that the emphasis is reduced. And over time, we can eventually be free of that, as we all step into that new abraxian, that Hyperian abraxian consciousness. Dana asks, how do animals fit into this? Well, animals are just avatars for other minds. So just like we are avatars for minds, so are, I am not an avatar. I am a mind that links to this avatar. Well, so are animals. Animals all have eternal minds, monads, linked to them. And animals are on their own journey of learning, growth, and optimization. This is why we need to treat animals well. And this is why, mainstream religions are horrible. Many mainstream religions say, oh yeah, God created animals for us to use however we like. No, animals are just avatar bodies, avatar vehicles for other minds that are also on this journey of learning and growth. So we have to be conscious of this, and that's why it is important to be, kind to animals. We don't want to increase suffering, we want to reduce suffering. And the important thing to understand is that as eternal minds, nobody created us. We are a system of mathematical energy that all balances to zero. And since each one of us is mathematically equivalent to zero, we don't need a creator. We are eternal. Why are we eternal? Because mathematically speaking, rationally speaking, logically speaking, zero is equivalent to nothingness, and nothingness is eternal. Nothingness must exist. It has necessary existence. It would be impossible for it to not exist. So we, as mathematically structured nothingness, have to exist. We must exist. We can't not exist. How can you destroy nothing? You can't. You can't destroy nothing. Nothing is not something that you can destroy or create. It is eternal. It always is, always has been, and always will be. We are mathematically structured nothingness, and we can know this mathematically. Again, if you are new, make sure you study our system of ontological mathematics, how we show that this is all possible. So it's very important to understand that we aren't created by anything. We are not and even when we say that we created this world, we didn't necessarily create it. There is no energy that is either created or destroyed. It's transformed. It's transformed energy. This world isn't necessarily a creation, but our transformation. Everything around us is our transformations. Mathematically speaking, this is an ontological Fourier transform. An ontological Fourier transform, what is that? It transforms frequency information to space-time information. In terms of Hyperianism, that takes our mathematical energy and through a mathematical transform, through a mathematical operation, transforms it into the holos that we interact and experience together in this world. So what I want to emphasize, of course, is that we are God becoming. And those of us who are conscious, who do have that abraxian perspective, who understand that abraxian perspective, we are the avatars of Abraxas. We are literally God on earth. We are the avatars of Abraxas. We are God becoming conscious. We are the eyes and the ears of Abraxas. As I speak, I am the mouth of Abraxas. We are Abraxas awakening. That is the opening of the great eye. That's what that means. We are Abraxas coming to self-knowledge. And our goal and our mission is to wake up the entire world so that we have created a planet that has achieved God consciousness, Abraxian consciousness. And we can reshape the world and build our kingdom on earth. So to hell with all those systems that tell you that God is outside of you. Fuck that. Step into your power. We talk about the shadow self, the mirror self, and the power self. The power self is your power, but this world represses your power self. What happens when you repress part of your unconscious? You start projecting. So what happens when you do power self projection? Well, instead of becoming a god, you project and you start to worship someone else or something else as a god. You worship a fake deity in the sky as a god, or you worship a politician as a god, or you worship an idol as a god, or you just worship something external as a god. That's power self projection. You don't want to project your power self. You want to integrate it. Find it within you. Find that unconscious power within you. Make it conscious and become powerful. Embody your power self. And this is how you make the higher self conscious. Absolutely check out our videos on inner star actualization on my channel, all about how to do this. Because before you fully integrate the power self, you need to make sure that your mirror self and shadow self are integrated as well, or else problems can arise. So make sure you check that out. But to hell with all these systems that repress you. To hell with these mainstream religious ideas that tell you that God is external. To hell with scientific materialism that tells you that you're dead, mindless matter, destined to do nothing but decay in the dirt and that you're insignificant. And to hell with the capitalist system that works you as a slave in a 9-to-5 job so that you have no time or energy to discover what you are. Instead, join us and step into your power. Join us as God becoming conscious. And together, we will remake the world. We are here. That's why we say, guys, we are it. And this is why I want you to really be excited about the fact that you are a part of history in the making. We are that new node. We are the new nodes lighting up that are finally connecting together to have that abraxian consciousness come online and actualize in this world now. So, don't worship a god, become a god. And together, join us as we remake the world and build the kingdom of God here on earth. My name is Morgue, ad astra, to the stars.